I want you to become fully present about your body's needs and also enjoy living amongst the pages of your sketchbook journal. We are going to create a little journal like this where we'll add our recipes and bring our ideas together. And you won't need extravagant supplies. You'll need scissors, some clips, thread to tie your pages together, and a little bit of glue. We won't worry about the front cover just yet. All we need is a place to be creative. In the previous lesson, I showed you how to fold and get your journal together, and I've showed you an in-depth way of sewing your journal together. Now, even the process of building this journal is a beautiful, mindful thing you can do for yourself. It helps to quiet the mind when we do repetitive actions like poking little holes or sewing loops or doing something that we don't have to overthink the process. We are letting that systematic thing happen naturally. Now, when you put your journal together, you are going to feel at some point maybe a little bit frustrated, but all I'm asking you to do is relax, take a deep breath, and figure out how to do that for yourself. You don't have to follow my tutorial at all. If you've found a different way to bind your book, by all means, go ahead and use that. You could even share that in the comments below. You'll see your book coming together quickly because we're only doing 12 sheets, and doing this process 12 times is just enough to unwind and relax and to embrace this new thing you are learning, and also to make sure that what you're making is exactly what you want. Please don't go into perfectionist mode here. You are certainly not going to be perfect the first time, and the second time will be better. And as you go along, you'll find a way to master this skill as well. We have printed out the little booklet, and in the booklet you'll find a copy of my picture I'm going to put inside my journal. So I did draw this in advance and put it together as a more compact little drawing, and you'll see in the journal what I did with mine. But first, let's get rid of all the book or journal making supplies and show you what it looks like after it dried overnight. So these clips do come off, and your glue might have left a little residue, and that residue you could easily snip off. Now, I did find that this glue, this specific brand, is kind of firm and hardens up extremely hard, and that's all right, but you'll hear in a minute why I think that might be a problem. So listen. Oh, not that one. It's like the book cracks open. But anyway, there's our little booklet. Now you can go ahead and paste on a strip of paper to cover this part around like that, or you can leave it as is. We can sort those things out later. Like I said, we're not going to focus on the cover just yet. We are going to dive right in and do some drawing so that we can start coloring in. Now, I've done parts of this already, and you'll see that I've done my lemons on this side. I've taken one big lemon out because I do have a little indication of another lemon there, and the rose with a smaller rose, a few of those orange blossoms there, and of course the rose geranium flower. I didn't indicate the rose geranium leaves because I just don't want that much green in my picture. Now you can move these around in any way you like, and for interest's sake I would like to go ahead and create a little border around this. And then of course I want to write the name, Romantic Destinations, with the essential oil blend recipe there. Not necessarily the room spray we made with that, just the ingredients so that I know what I put together, what it smells like, and create a visual of what that smell might represent as a picture. But let's get that name sorted. So I could always erase some of these lines. I just want to indicate where I want that word. And it's Romantic Destinations. But I want it sort of in a scrolly type of lettering. I need to support my book on this side because there's nothing there. Let's use an old sketchbook. Now you might remember this one from the 30 Days Self-Mastery and Transformation. And there's a complete flip through of this one on YouTube. Oh, there, that's much better. So let's get that lettering. It might even be useful to have my little ruler, maybe higher. And I want those two capital letters to be fairly wide. Okay, so, and I'll share a short snippet here of how I'm talking myself through the name writing or the title writing phase as I write and erase and write and erase and rethink where I'm placing the letters. And that could give you some indication of how gentle you need to be with yourself instead of saying mean and rude things in your own head. To yourself. I want you to be your own cheerleader and stop being that mean critic that yells out from the side. I remember this is just in a journal. If you'd like to go further and do it like a proper designer, then you are more than welcome to do that. I just want something pretty in my book that I could use right away. I don't know if I like that. I like that better. And this here I'm also going to change. So we have, oh yes, that's much better. Okay, so romantic destinations. I'm not going to fiddle with that too much. I might even have a something like that. Let's keep that. And then the ingredients was 6 drops. Let's do it a small letter. Sicilian lemon. 6 drops. Moroccan rose. And then 2 drops rose geranium. Comforting, warm, sparkling, exciting, fresh, and romantic. All right, I am ready to decorate, except for one little thing. Maybe I'll add a little piece of patterning in this top area, because the whole lemon Sicilian theme kind of reminds me of a tiled pattern I saw, and that could be really interesting to bring this together, but I'll work on that as I proceed through the coloring phase. So what I'm going to do next is I'm going to take my kneadable eraser and just take some of this pencil marks off. Okay, I have my kneadable eraser, but before I erase, I just want to bring the camera a little bit closer so you can see how messy it really is. Right, so I've got some of those lemon blossoms, the lemon hanging there, a repeat of that on that side, the rose from there, the rose geranium, that lemon slice, slightly larger, and then I also made a smaller flower, and yes, that slightly thicker font there. I might even decorate that a little bit more as we go along, and I might widen or thicken these ones. whichever way this is going to go, I'm pretty sure it will work out fine. So here is that edge, that little border marking I want to add the pattern into. So let's take the kneadable eraser, and all I'm doing is lightening up these marks by rolling my eraser on the page until I feel satisfied with. So that is good. So I'll do that to all the other ones. And that also means you won't be able to see much as I put you back onto the stand and continue this process. So I'll put you on a time lapse for this whole section. What this kneadable eraser erasing process is doing is it's removing excess graphite from my page and also lightening those lines so that when I go over with watercolor or watercolor pencils or even gouache at some point, I won't have to deal with coloring so thickly that the lines don't show. Even though I don't mind the pencil lines showing, I certainly don't want them smudged and mixed into my colors. I'd really like to keep my colors clean. I'll also use another eraser to erase out the lines between what I've written and drawn here. Those were the guidelines for the text pieces, and they definitely need to go. And throughout the process, I can change my mind whenever I want. And the same goes for you. If you are busy doing something, you can also change your mind midway. You can change your mind near the end. You can even add on or take away the things that do not belong there. Remember, if you are doing a process or a project and you are guiding that, then you are the one at the steering wheel making the decisions. And it's your right for changing whatever you need to make the project better, or to leave out whatever needs to go so that the project can succeed. And that's just what I did here. As I was going through the creative process, I realized that there was something I wanted to change about the letter D, and that helped me to figure other things out as well. And sometimes our solutions only come to us a little bit later. So it's your job as the co-creator to be open to receive new input, new information, and discover how you are going to get that to work with your project. And sometimes our new ideas are worse than the ones before. But it doesn't matter. At least you've tried this new thing. And you can always go and recollect the previous thing you did and bring that back into the picture. But you won't know what an impact something new might have, or how much value the old thing had if you didn't give it a go. Now I'm about to go ahead and select my coloring pencils and start to use that watercolor techniques to fill in my painting. And if you want to follow along with a detailed tutorial, everything is in the open studio sessions for you to either join the free contents, or you can go ahead and follow the link. You can go ahead and follow the link in the description to also find your way to a paid program. Now, if you are already a self-mastery member, you already know. If you are a self-mastery member, then you know that this piece of content was uploaded a long time ago and that you have had access to it for a while. So, let today be a creative day, one where you make things happen, where you go into that mindful processes, where you forget about all the worries of the day, of the schedules you need to run, the to-do lists you need to do, and just sit down with yourself and have a creative moment. Have this time to help your right brain activate, become engaged, and also support the left brain activities that we have to do every single day. When we have our brain in balance, we now have a greater tool that will help us do even better things. So, make time for mindful creative practices and enjoy your expression. Go ahead, make those mistakes, make those changes, learn, discover, find out. And don't be too judgmental on the results you get, because the next time you go over that, it will be better, I promise. All you have to do is keep on going. Now you'll find that if you look back at the moment you started your project, it was a blank slate. And because that was a blank slate, it could become anything. And as the process grows, as the project develops, you'll see all those beautiful ideas coming together. Just like what we've got here now. We've got a beautiful visual presentation of what the Romantic Destination Essential Oil Blend looks like. In terms of the fragrances that come through, the colors that come through, the elements of each of these floral, citrusy goodness empowers our brains to just feel different. It's times like these I wished we had smell-o-vision. But you can just imagine the fresh, delicate, romantic fragrance hanging in the air as you create in your environment a place where things can happen. Now that also reminds me of our next blend, that is Divine Creativity. And for that you can join the membership and have your hands on all the information you will need. All right, grab some of those freebies in the description and follow along. If you missed one of the previous videos about what this is all about, or if you even wanted to see how I color in and outline the picture in the coloring book below my little aroma journal, there are links all over the place for you to find that, and go ahead and follow us on social media, where I do pop in every now and then all the new things, the behind the scene things, and the beautiful things we do here in the studio. You might feel like you want to buy books instead of putting one together yourself, but by the time you've learned the skill, you're going to find ways to want to make more books. And that is all right. Gathering your ideas in a sketchbook journal is a mindful, creative way to give expression to your thoughts, to the images in your mind, and to also learn. I often mention that sketchbooks are our memory keepers, and because of that, we get to choose what we put in there. And I hope you choose to create beautiful recipes for your little aroma journal. Now, in that process of creating your page, or if you're doing something that adds to a process, it's so easy to often be mistaken by the workload, and once you are confronted with it, you almost talk yourself out of it and start giving up. This is not the way to go. Of course, we know that within. And finding a way to get to that end product or the path we are leading to, we really need to speak motivation into our minds. We need to talk ourselves through the process. Later this week, I decided to take the Sicilian lemon and the rose geranium and the damask rose and create separate pages for them where I will continue to fill in and discover all the beautiful benefits these plants, their essences, and their energetic footprints have on the human body and brain, and how our plant companions help us through our lives and to overcome difficult things. May you have a wonderful time creating your aroma journal.